Love.
Miłość.
Amor.
Alaska.
Rhea Lum 2.
الحب.
Liebe.
Ti amo.
I love you.
나는 당신을 사랑합니다.
Vergun.
أنا بحبك.
Em yêu anh.
Ik hou van jou.
Kärlek.
محبات.
Te quiero.
Why?
Любовь.
Kärlighet.
Melodie.
دوست دارم.
Ich liebe dich.
Kocham cię.
Liefde.
Nan och najnisikre.
L'amour.
Love. It makes humans do the greatest and the most foolish things. An inexplicable feeling that can lift you high up into the clouds or bury you deep into the ground. There are infinite songs inspired by a broken heart. Every movie has some kind of love interest. We spend millions of minutes contemplating what may or may not happen. Countless families are based on this funny thing that we call love. It has endless different meanings for everyone, which made us embark on a quest around the world to discover how love is expressed and what it represents in different cultures and societies. People from dozens of countries are now giving you their perspective of the multiple colors that love can take.
Whenever we come into the essence of what it means to be a human being, love comes in.
Love is the most important energy of all universe.
Love is like being with someone that you can't imagine being without.
I feel that love is this energy that bonds everything together, between people, between animals, between plants, or between the whole planet.
Love is actually a mixture of sadness, efforts, and sacrifice.
In Urdu we say, प्यार किया नहीं जाता हो जाता है. It means like we do not do love, it happens.
Love is not only between the girls and boys, but all over the world.
You care about that person, you just don't say the word love, love, love again, but you feel it and you mean it.
You basically care more about this person than about yourself.
Love is a choice. It's not a feeling.
I found love everywhere because I'm love myself.
Can change my life, can change the economies, can change the world, can change everything.
Doesn't matter if you feel it with your family or with a partner, but it's the feeling that I want to feel every day.
The first that comes in my mind is the opposite of hate. And it's love is opening up, right? Rather than shutting down.
I think it's a universal energy. You must feel it from inside of you.
Love is a very important thing between two or more people. That when they meet, they share this sorrow, happiness, joy, and they are ready to help each other. That's why it's called love.
We were both completely drunk. We both came from another party and we met at 4 o'clock in the morning and we looked into each other's eyes and made boom. And we just knew, okay, this is it. So then she quit her 5-year relationship and she also had 3 other lovers and she quit that. And after 5 weeks we moved together in my little 1.5 room flat, and that was 17 years ago.
Babake bibi yangu, ile si bibi yangu,
naenda nyumbani yake naona bibi yangu kama siku 2 ama siku kama mwezi mzima, naangalia mpaka nakupenda sana, nimekubali mpaka hata bibi.
The last day that I was in Kathmandu, I couldn't just get on a plane without seeing her, and she didn't want to come to take us to the airplane because she said she would be afraid that she would cry if she would see us leave. So I just went to the reception there, to the gym, to see her face one more time. And it was kind of awkward. I said like, "Hi, yeah, I'm going now," and this sort of thing, you know. And she was kind of like almost shocked to see me, like, "Oh, hey, hi," because she didn't expect to see me again. And then I left and we got to the airport, and it was very strange because as soon as we lifted off, I started feeling this very big loss, you know, like I was looking through the plane window and I saw Kathmandu getting smaller and smaller, and I saw her sort of getting smaller and smaller and disappearing almost, you know. So that's actually the exact moment that I realized how much she really meant to me. And then when I got home, I found this very long email in my inbox where she told me that not long after I left the gym, she actually, without saying anything, she just ran from her office post. She got into a taxi and she was driving to the airport to try and catch up with me. But we already had passed the customs check at that point, you know. And so we sort of had that moment at the same time, like that realization that you can't really choose love, you know. You can't say, okay, I'm not going to love this person, I'm not going to fall in love with this person, let's just be friends. If there's much more than that, it's something you can't deny. So we had a very long distance relationship, lots of emails, lots of phone calls. At one point we just had to conclude, like, we need to do something with this, you know, otherwise we're gonna end up unhappy. So that's how we decided to get married. You know, so in 2002 we got married here in Nepal.
Like everybody said, my late husband is not romantic kind of man. People would say like very Chinese oriented and very Chinese minded, but with our relationship, he changed for better for me, and I changed for him also. So this kind of love that bring out the best, I have it for 22 years of my marriage. When we celebrate our 17th anniversary, he just come up with the idea, given me like 17 cards every day since the day our anniversary, first card, second card, and 17 card, and then every day I got 17 gifts. Can you believe that? Who did that? I checked out with my friend and nobody received that.
My love story with Sasmita, it began a few years back when I was living in Melbourne. I was sent her picture in email by my relatives. They wanted to arrange my marriage with her, and when I first saw her picture, I thought, this looks like a boring girl. I don't know if I want to marry her. But then there's another side of me that was a bit curious. And then I did a bit of research on Facebook, intensive research. I found her Facebook profile, I added her. And then we became friends on Facebook and we started chatting every day. She had no clue whatsoever that our marriage was being arranged. So for nearly 3 years, I was chatting with her, I became her friend. And then finally one day, she came to know that our relatives were trying to get us married. And then I came back to Nepal from Melbourne because my dad was very sick and everyone was trying to get me married before anything happened to him. We first decided to meet in a cafe. I had been chatting with her for so long, but I had never ever seen her in person, so it was pretty scary experience for me. I waited in the cafe for her, then I was very anxious, like my body language, I was doing this, and then I was looking at the entrance, and then every time a pretty girl came inside, I was like, oh, is that her? Oh no, that's not her. And then finally she came. She had a lot of makeup on. Obviously she was prepared to impress me. Then we sat down in the cafe, ordered pizza. For nearly 2 hours we didn't speak much. I was nervous and so was her, and we didn't talk much, and we were just eating, and finally after 2 hours we started to chat. The first thing she asked me was whether I was being forced to marry, whether it was my decision that I want to marry or not. It was there was a bit of pressure on me, but still when I saw her, I knew that this was the girl I wanted to be with the rest of my life. So I told her, no, I'm not being pressurized. I think I want to marry you. Then came the next meeting, which was in Garden of Dreams. So that day we were a bit more open to each other. We took lots of pictures. Because I'm a photographer, I took my camera with me and I spend most of my time taking pictures of us. And I still have those pictures, and whenever I look at them, I feel very good. We were both good looking back then. So finally the day of our wedding came. Because I'm a Hindu, we have a long rituals. My dad also participated. He was very sick, but he got very excited to be the part of the wedding. And the rituals, it went on for 4 days. And we're not allowed to have salt also. Anyways, so after the wedding, she came home. We started living our life. 2017, our little daughter Myra was born. Throughout all these ups and downs, she got frustrated many times, but she never left me, and we went through it all.
Marriage, the first time I remember I was proud to honor the education that we have, that we must create a family. When I announced to my father how I would like to marry, he was happy. I know that he can be happy. I think that was a regular thing that I can put one foot in the society. But after 1 year and a half, love was still good, but the work of the brain, start to communicate wrong things. And to be always with the same person, sleep in the same bed, eat in the same time, was eating all time. I was thinking, what will be in another time without her? What I can do without her? What she can do without me? Probably we was prisoner of ourselves.
My mom, she's now like 72. My dad is 82, and he married 2 sisters. So I come from a polygamous family, and it worked for them. Actually, my mom got married first, and her sister, who was her follower, she was 15 years old. And I think in some ways my mom preferred that my dad marries her sister. They stay well together. They can even share a house, than getting another person from somewhere that maybe they might not be able to live together well. I actually didn't know who was my mom and who was not my mom, who are my mom's kids and who are my sister's mom's kids, until when I was like around 13 years. That's when you could know that you are the last born of this mom, and the first born is this, and second born blah, blah, blah. So it took us time. We never saw them fighting. We never saw them fighting over anything. I don't know how they managed, but it worked for them, and it worked for even other families. But I don't think it can work now, because we are in a society whereby you can even kill your sibling if she cheats with the husband.
So we actually met on Tinder. That's the first thing what we say, because some people would not really say that. We met online, and it was almost 2 years ago that we met, and it started pretty amazing, and it's still pretty amazing. Things got very fast. So I actually suggested going out on the 1st of May on Petrin, which is very symbolic. And from there, it just went straight to this point where we were immediately in a relationship. We fell for each other, and it just felt very natural, even though it was kind of fast.
I was really confused and I just put myself into one category. But now I'm happy to say that for me, love is everywhere. I could love any kind of person. That's why I consider myself as bisexual.
We became friends, and I think we mistook the friendship for something else. And that's about it. Like, I really don't feel this much passion towards it. I see it as a big lesson in my life because I had all these expectations that I wanted to get married instead of falling in love and then seeing what might happen. So this is part of my learning process. I think this is why at this point I'm in my love story with myself. Like I am open, I wish to have a partner, but I also don't want to do something as silly as marrying somebody I'm not in love with.
For me right now, I feel the kids are a little older and there's more space, and I start to value the time we have, and we start to reconnect more romantically, let's say. But at the same time, there was times when, all you think about is like, my God, what's keeping us together? Why aren't we divorced? And then a couple of years pass and you're like, God, thank God those dark times didn't get the best of us. So is that love? I don't know. It's just like day to day,
My mom arranged her for me. Far away, about 350 kilometers far away from here, she lives there. But her parents, like my mother-in-law, my mom know, so she gone there. And then she said, okay, I have my son, so please, I want your daughter for my son. So my mother-in-law says, okay, I will come to your home and I see your son. Then she came here with her sisters. Then she showed me and I show her Taj Mahal as well. She told my mom, okay, I will give you my daughter for your son.
I think in Nepal, once the girls start having the age of like 17, 18, it's a kind of, that is a marriageable age. The parents start giving you all the photographs, and then people start taking interest on the girls, or even to the boys, like, hey, I have this suitable guy or girl you have. So I start having that also for my parents, but all the time I was saying like, no, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. First, let me finish my study and this thing. So when I fell in love with my first love, my parents was, especially my dad, was really, really angry. So I told them that, okay, if you don't permit, okay, I will stay, like, I will remain unmarried for the rest of my life, so can you handle that,
A lot of people say that love is feeling. I don't really agree with that, because feeling you can feel, the feeling can go. When you love someone because, oh, it's so beautiful, he's so macho, wow, it's incredible, but that's only feeling. But when you decide to love someone,
because like feelings die down, but like if you want to be with that person for a lifetime, you have to choose to love that person over and over again, regardless of everything. Because if you don't, because the feelings just like, today you're like, but like the next day you'd be like, just want to kill that person, or it fades away. Yeah, so like you have to choose to love the person like intentionally, in spite of everything.
You learn to love and you learn to understand the other person, but I think it's kind of forcing yourself because you don't have another option.
Nowadays I feel like arranged marriage is much better than love marriages. Because there is a family involved. In love marriages, there is no family. Simple as that, nothing else.
Because marriage is a lifetime commitment. So you should be free to marry whoever you feel like this is the person that I want to marry.
I cannot exactly say about the arranged marriage, but if the person who understands love, for him arranged marriage or love marriage does not matter, because he is made for love and he will love any person who comes in his life.
It is pretty tricky because there are expectations from your family that you marry to someone from your own community, but then you can't help falling in love with someone. When you're in love, you're in love.
In some countries, it's still common. And sometimes we are making jokes with my friend that if we won't find someone, we're gonna ask our parents to arrange something like that for us.
I can't really, because I'm so far away of this kind of situation. Like my parents, that would be so awkward if my parents would be like, here, this guy, huh? What do you think?
I would trust them, but I would trust them for the same reasons they would never do it.
With family, it's like in our blood. It's already given by the God. You cannot make it, you cannot destroy it. With the family, especially your parents and kids and kins, like your siblings. So for those, it's like eternal. It's like already loaded in our genes.
I have a strong love, very strong love to my family, and a very strong love that is different from my strong love to my husband, because he's the person that I'm going to stay together with, but my family will always be there for me. If something happens between me and my husband, I will always go back to my family. So the love that I have for my family is quite huge than the one I have for my husband.
Your family always give you support and stay behind. If we do something wrong, our family, first thing, he tell us, no, do not do that. This family is very important. That's our religious tell us, the love is very important, your family is very important. Also, more friend you have, more love you have.
Yes. And the love for the mother, you cannot compare with any love. That is the mother and the father. Because they brought you in this world and you didn't know anything. And they are the ones who taught you how to love one another. Yes.
Well, I am a son of a single mother, so I think that has a big influence on how I express love. Because, I basically only had the women feminine figure to show me how to do it.
But I think if someone loves you 10% of what your mother loves you, that is love.
You have an instinctual love for your mother. You take for granted a lot of what love is, I think, throughout your life. You just know you're connected, let's say, to your mother and everybody, to whatever you have, that feels beyond explanation, which for me would be a mother love type thing. And then to have the boys, in a way, it's that same kind of eternal instinct that takes away thought from love. There's no question. There's like I would die, And I'm not saying that kids don't think, oh, I'll die for my mother. So it's even beyond that, When you know that you'll give your life up in a heartbeat for your child, that's something that most people have never experienced before. At least I haven't. And so for me, what else is love, when it reaches that level where you would give your life in a heartbeat and you know it. You wouldn't have to think, you would do it.
So my dad died and we grew up with our mom, and where our mom did well. So even if she didn't manage to educate me, but I really give her credit because she fought so much to raise us. That's why I always say I'm a son of a woman. Yeah, and I respect women better than anything. My belief is if there is no woman, you can't be who you are.
Because my parents didn't love each other, and my mom always told me that the only people she loves is me, my brother, and her parents, and that's it, and that she never loved anybody else. So for me, the love was only the feeling that I kind of got from her. For a long time I had this idea that I probably will be with someone for stability and not for love. Yeah. But then I met Tomasz and it kind of changed. From the very beginning I immediately realized that no, that's not the same feeling. I must say that I grew up in a family only with my mom, because my mom and my dad, they did not really spend much time together. But even though it was a bit rough in the beginning, I still grew up with my siblings and with my grandparents in the same house. So I guess I was surrounded with all types of love, like love-hate, love-respect, and love-need. And I think it just really taught me to love no matter how different or far the person is.
I come from a very loving family where I've always been shown, the example of caring for each other, of enjoying time together, giving each other independence. I think that's a healthy love, giving each other space, trusting each other, but being there, being very close. Being Colombian, like we're always hugging and kissing and like touching. Like my mom is always like, oh, I'm mis bebés. So that's like my first love story, and it still continues, thankfully.
And we cannot think like you guys do or she do. We think how can we satisfy our brothers or our parents? We think of them more than ourselves. So it's been very difficult for me to manage all those things.
Yeah, maybe in that way my parents influenced me, since I see this like really nice relationship that they have. And maybe I see how my dad is to my mom, and that makes me look for that type of person in my partner.
I didn't make a family in one way because one soldier cannot take more than 7 kilos in the front line. And one child is important to be with him. I don't want to be too much human. I want to think that I'm like everybody, extraterrestrial.
So from my background, I had a really, really terrible childhood. And so my mother was an alcoholic, and I was basically alone since I was 3 years old. And I got myself out of the deepest shit, basically, and I know how. And I know how powerful meditation and positive neuroscience and psychology is. We all have, our package which we carry from our parents, what they have lived, how they have been happy or unhappy, and we have kind of like developed a reaction towards that. Also how we experienced our original family, how stable our relation to our parents have been, and in most cases in our Western cultures this stable base is not there for most people. And so we develop fears of intimacy, we develop all kinds of obstacles. And you need to become aware how these kind of patterns you have developed are influencing the partner you choose, how it influences, like how you are in relationships, and it influences how happy you become.
Their parents influenced them, and their parents influenced them, and voila, I've been lucky, that I have mother and father. I know people who don't have that. I think the older I am, the more I realize how foolish a person can be sometimes, how ungrateful, because it's easy to block yourself, to have this armor around you and call your parents, okay, that's their fault, or it's her fault, the way I am. But first of all, you gotta start with yourself first, right, inside of you, and to forgive yourself first for feeling this way. That's the way it is, and I love my parents for what they've given me, and maybe sometimes we don't show them enough, but that's a good reminder actually right now.
I think my parents taught me everything about life, and not in a very orthodox way, let's say. So my parents are very dysfunctional, and I think like every parent are, because parents are just kids like us, but now they have kids to take care. So my mom was very young, she was 16, and I was her second child, so she has no structure to really deal with kids, because she was a kid herself at that age. So she taught me a lot about what life really means when you're suffering, and being able to see through other people's eyes. My father was a very harsh man. He had a lot of issues growing up, and he got blind after 22 in a mistake in a surgery. So he also was he had a very heavy heart. And I was a child, and he did not know also how to take care of a child. So it was a quite interesting childhood, and he taught him a lot about forgiveness, I guess. not in a talking way, but in a later life when I learned how to forgive him, because I thought that I could never forgive him for who he was, until I really see who he was for reality and really accept that he's just a man, he's just a boy, he's just a guy, and there's no guilt, there's no blame, there's no evil.
Like me, I can say the love I have for God is stronger than every other love that exists.
I have my qualification for man that he need to fear God, he need to be honest. Because if you fear God, then you always put like the right priority in your life. Like you will put God first, then your wife, then your children, then after that your work. I think that's very fundamental in marriage.
There is no religious impact on love. Love is else. Love is completely different. Love is only love. There is no religion kind of thing.
I love my religion so much, and for me that if somebody loves me and I want him truly love what I like.
The universal message of Islam is love humans, love all the humans. When I practiced that, when I felt like, can I forgive this person who has done this thing with me? Then it was like Prophet had said, say to that person, I forgive you just for Allah. And when I said that something to person, it was a different feeling. I cannot do it if I was not in love with Allah or God. And due to that love, it's a bond with the humans.
I think a lot of people seek religion to seek love, actually. And I do feel that some people can really find in that. Like you see the love and passion that Muslims have, and how much they practice and how much love and effort they put in that. So I do feel there's a lot of love involved in that. You see the Thai culture is such a giving culture, a loving, open-hearted culture, and it's linked to Buddhism. And even Christians, you see a lot of love and compassion in them. And sometimes they actually find this through their religion, because this is the only path that they can find it. Sometimes they try in many other places, but they cannot reach love.
The Buddhists not teach about love. They just teach like if you do something good to someone, you will get some good back. You give what you get what you give.
I believe in a path of endless connectedness. I believe there is something greater than us.
Okay, this is gonna sound very strange, but you have like in Star Wars you have like the Force. Well, I believe it's something like that. If people would talk about God, then that is God for me. It is a feeling. It is an atmosphere, and you have to feel it. You have to be in touch with it, and then you have to grab it. When everything came on my path, when I moved to Uganda, I got 2 job offers. I got my girlfriend there, my biggest happiness. For me, that I got those 2 job offers, when I was looking at them, that for me that was the work of that atmosphere, that kind of God in that way.
There is a way that prayer can help in a situation whereby things are not working out when it comes to relationship. Like you can pray. I pray for my relationship, I pray for my husband, I pray for my family. And when we have moments of difficulties, it works with prayers.
God, I know you're there. Please, I have such and such a challenge. Please help me. So which means God is there and things work out as well. The love that I give out to God is very different from the love that I give out to my fellow friend. Yeah, because sometimes I can only trust God because I know God cannot tell someone what I've told him. He only tells me.
Religious people, they always have a therapist with them, which is God. So they both believe very strongly. They both put a lot of intention into it.
Actually, I'm not a religious person. I was born in a Hindu family, but I'm not a Hindu. I mean, culturally I'm a Hindu, but
Philosophically, I'm like an atheist.
In India, religion plays a most important role in everyone's life, and we are still struggling with that. So maybe in future, we'll get some hope. But as of now, I don't see that a same-gender couple can be considered here.
Religion divides the human. Religion is the association of criminality. Love is God himself. If you must give a name to God, I think that the name of God is love. And his energy is the most important.
I love myself, but I also hate myself. It's not so easy. Well, usually I wake up and I think I'm amazing. Let's get that straight. But no, sometimes you act not according to your, let's say, beliefs or moral compass because of something, maybe external factors or I don't know. Depends, but then if you're the only one responsible for that, then you are angry at yourself. So, I'm just trying to be a better version of myself every day. So when I fail, I'm disappointed.
Sometimes, especially for women, it can be a bit difficult to love yourself because all the advertisement and all the things that we are supposed to be, because we are supposed to be the perfect mother, the perfect student, but at the same time we have to be funny, we have to be all the time happy, and really we are human and it's not possible to every one of us, and this is why sometimes very women can feel bad, but I think that we have to understand that this is a prototype and we don't have to follow this all the time because we are human above just women or some things or some ideal you need to follow.
Because everybody say to me like, I love your skin, I love that. It make me think, oh, this is the way, this is what I want, And now I love to look at the mirror.
I started to take care of myself. That was the first step, and starting to accepting myself, and in that also stop judging myself and what I'm doing.
I'm thinking about why I love him, but I don't love myself. And then I have to do anything for myself. I broke up with him, and I'm do anything for make my life is better.
I think I have accepted it that I love men because I have accepted myself. Till the time you don't love yourself, you can't accept anything. I loved myself more than anyone. After my mother, I loved myself, and that's why I think it's okay for me to being in a relationship with a man, because at the end, it's me who need to be happy in life.
A tribe called Shipibo in the north jungle of Pucallpa, because I was struggling with addictions and I wanted to get sober. Clean myself from all the shit I've been doing for the last couple of years in this concrete jungle. And I did that, and I found gratitude. I found certain joy. I found playfulness again within myself. But also I found a lot of darkness. I found something that I had to face with, that I've been afraid to meet, your demons. If I remember at those times where I was feeling really, really, really low, and I found this stream of love inside of me, I felt happy. I liberated myself, from the past. It's giving me something that I can always lean on, always be there for myself, which I didn't know, which I never knew I could be there for myself, the way how I experienced back in the jungle.
I think growing up in this society, I think we learn in some fucked up way to not love ourselves. We learn that that person is better, that person that do this better. And it's a constant input for you to not love yourself. This is why I think in our society, it's really rare to hear about self-love, and you see a lot of people hating themselves. And that was also not different for me. I also had a lot of issues of loving myself for many reasons, for not accepting my physical appearance or my mistakes or my flaws. I could never understand why I had so much hate towards myself as well, because that's not natural. That's not something that should really happen, right? You are the one that you have to live with for the rest of your life. And if you hate yourself, how can you live with yourself, you know? So then I started going deep into it, and then I found that I had a lot of judgment about myself, and like not very good ones. I was not good enough, I was not handsome enough, I was not cool enough, I was not nice enough, and I did not do good enough. But then after a while I started going even deeper into it and seeing who I really am and what really matters, because most of the things that I was judging myself for, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It matters your heart. Like, this is me, this is my physical appearance, this is my intellectual, this is my mind, and this is my beliefs, and this is me. And as soon as I had this radical acceptance of everything that I am, I started slowly changing things that I thought that I could improve, and things just started improving itself, or with some effort. But just after I really accepted who I was, who I am right now, and that was a love story that started with a lot of hate and then slowly became into friendship and now became unconditional love.
I left my goals aside and I left a lot of who I was aside to support what he was doing. And of course I moved to another country where I had to learn the language, and that put me in a different position, and we thought it would be easier, but it wasn't about my career and about my things. But it was this thing that I had to lose my freedom completely. The things that happened in the relationship were not my conscious choice. I got into it, but it wasn't like I want to not have a career. I want to be in a position where I don't speak the language and I'm struggling.
You are constant contact with people here. Even though you are staying in a house, you hear like dog barking, you hear like people. So you feel safe, you know. But when you are in Europe or in America, you don't hear anyone. So you feel like you are alone, you know. And that kind of loneliness was really, really hard for me. So I think that was the things I sacrificed.
I think that in life sometimes you need to sacrifice many things for love. And I think that if I really feel a strong love with someone, because I think that you really know when this person is really special for you, I think I will do really crazy things. I will move to Australia, to United States, I don't know, I will move to anywhere, I will get my job, I will do many, many things if I know that this is the person that I want to be with. Because I think that love is the strongest feeling you can have in your life. So if you have to sacrifice, I think it's worth it.
What I do sacrifice to have my girlfriend here, my life here, and my job are definitely my family and my friends back home, and that is a trade-off, and that is can be quite painful at moments. Yeah.
I'll sacrifice myself. My music is like I'm married to my music before being married to anyone else, so it's me. Anyone that I introduce to my life, they also have a little piece of me.
For example, if you like to have some dress or some makeup, and this guy don't want that you have some dress or some makeup, you don't have to sacrifice some little things, because it's little, but after it's become a big thing, and at the end it's not you, so you don't have to sacrifice anything for love. But if I think about family, I think that you can sometimes sacrifice something. Because I sacrifice, I think, some things for my family, because my family is really important for me. So we have to take care of each other.
So when I was working, my My plan was to educate my brother. So the money I could work for, I could pay it for my brother's school fees because I didn't want him to be like me. I really sacrificed a lot. But to me, what I did it because I meant it. I decided to do it. Yes.
My wife. She's love for me and she has sacrificed a lot. Well, we are still struggling to meet our ends and make a living and pay our debt. But still she never complains. I know that I haven't been able to buy her expensive gifts or take her to the movies, take her to a cafe. We are content with whatever little we have. So I feel like love has sacrificed for me rather than me sacrificing for the love.
Maybe I would just say that with the LGBTQ community, it could be very often that you have to sacrifice something. For instance, I had to sacrifice kind of relationship with my dad because he did not accept it as well. But generally, I don't think I ever sacrificed something and not in that way that I would really lose it and I would wanted it back. For me, it was always the thing to go for.
Yeah, for me, I guess the family thing as well, because only my mother and my brother know. But I don't want to hide it, and I don't want to be 30 and coming home and still being I don't have a girlfriend. I don't know. It's such a bullshit. So it's their decision to accept it or not. But if they don't, it will be definitely a sacrifice for myself, for my relationship with Palash. And yeah.
In our culture, it's like a payment when you get a girl from one family. When it comes to payment of dowry for us, we do you can pay with livestock, cows, sheep, and all that, or you can pay money. For my husband, he has not done it because he's buying me from my family, which he says it's terrible. But then I've sacrificed to be with him even without payment of this because I love him, because I feel good staying with him. Yes, he's Italian.
Just yesterday, I was talking with a guy at my work, and he was telling us this, and he was like, we pay the dowry because then we own them. And just so easily, the word owning was there, and that for me, it's a big kind of a whole contradiction of how I perceive love.
I feel sad to my family because they want to have a son. I'm lucky because my dad, they are not so, they have open mind, they can understand something easy. If he want to know something, he will ask.
I did cut any kind of contact with my real dad, with my biological dad. He was a very toxic figure for me, so I had to make that decision when I was 13. And I'm sure that in a way he did love me, but this was just very different than from my other family side, in which I was very open. So I did sacrifice that for my own form of happiness. Yeah.
I must say that I'm really happy man because I live a really simple life.
Ama sasa hivi naenda nyumbani. Naenda nyumbani, mimi niko sawa. Bibi yangu niko sawa na mtoto wangu nasikia raha sana.
Wow, I don't think that there is something concrete that makes you feel happy, makes me feel happy, but I think that finally you are happy when you wake up in the morning and you have peace in your mind.
When I'll have my own kids with the person I'm married to right now, that will be complete for me. I don't think I'll need anything else.
Loving someone and having this sense of home brings this state of happiness.
For me, definition of happiness is if you make some other person happy.
I think we are taught different
ideas of what love is and different ideas of what happiness is. Because happiness can be very like socially imposed on us, yeah? Like if you're married and you have children, that means you're happy. But also I feel like my generation of women, we've been told about freedom and like freedom makes happiness. And yes, you want a partner, but you need a career and you need all these things.
I still look for the way how I can make my family happy, and I don't show them, of course. They always think I'm happy, but to me, they are innocent, they don't know. Yeah. I'm okay, they know I'm happy, but to me personally, I'm not happy. I pretend to show them that I'm happy with them, but I'm not.
You know, a lot of people mix joy with happiness, and they think this kind of feeling of joy and good feelings is what happiness is. Is that you are absolutely 100% okay with who you are, what you're doing, and how your surrounding is, even when your surrounding is difficult. That's the key of happiness. That you're not attached to the outside, because most people are only happy when their outside is positive, and they are unhappy when the outside is negative. And for me, happiness is that your mind is so independent and so free that you can be in the worst circumstances.
In the morning, early morning, to watch the early morning and tell thanks. I send my love to all planet, to all universe, to everybody that I don't know.
Love is like a drug, you know. It's amplifier of feelings. If you're in love and you're happy, you're in ecstasy of happiness. It's like you feel like you're cuddled by clouds, you know, floating over the world just with this special person. No one else exists, you're just stuck in the universe together. But if you're in love and you're sad, you're devastated. It's, you know, you want to cut out your heart and to throw it away because you don't need it anymore. So
before I found somebody, that means you, that I had a very intimate relationship with, that I could share this. So even before I met Vlad, I think that I had an amazing group of friends and a purpose that I was really proud of. But still, something was missing. Like, let's say that all day I was happy, but then during the night I felt kind of sad that one part of the puzzle is still missing for me. So I don't think that happiness is always connected to love, but in my case it was connected to love because it was the missing piece.
Love is everywhere, in our dreams, in our hopes, in the good memories as in the bad ones. Waking up every morning feeling loved brings a tranquility of being. Love is timelessness when it unites two lucky souls for eternity. Life can slowly separate people who love each other. Even if the sea erases on the sand the footprints of broken love, there will forever be a mark in each of them of the passage of love. We are surrounded by love in countless ways, yet societies point out what divides the world. Whether you're atheist or Jewish, gay or transsexual, whether you're rich or poor, a single mom or a CEO, from Masai Mara to China, we always look for the differences. We have to stop looking for what divides us and keep searching for what unites the world. Love.